Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Jerry Pratt. I'm the Economic Development Officer for Clearwater County and the lead for David Thompson Country Regional Tourism. And this is a video where we talk about safety on Abraham Lake. Jen, could you introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Jen with Rocky SAR, and I'm on the mountain rescue team and the water team.
Okay, and Eric?
Yeah, my name's Eric. I'm with Rocky Search and Rescue as well, and I'm also on the water rescue team.
Okay, so Jen, you're going to talk to us a little bit about Abraham Lake today.
So Abraham Lake is a very large reservoir, about 33 kilometers long. It's very cold, and at best it's 4 degrees in the summertime. If people end up falling into Abraham Lake, they can experience hypothermia or muscle cramps, numbness, impaired thinking pretty quickly, probably within 15 minutes of being inside the water. Yeah, we've rescued people off of the water, and once they become submerged, it's hard for them to self-rescue. Paddle Canada has deemed Lake Abraham Reservoir not fit for paddling. Winds in the area are unpredictable and fast, and can pick up pretty quickly. If you're in a vessel like a rubber dinghy or something like that, or even a canoe, it's highly likely that the wind could pick up and push you into the middle of the lake. Because it's a reservoir, the water levels can rise, and it can flood camping areas overnight. It creates, there's also unpredictable currents. On Lake Abraham, there's spotty cell service east of Windy Point, and then west of Windy Point, there's pretty much no cell service. Many people are unfamiliar with the area or specific locations on around the lake itself, so it would be advised to look up at the Bighorn map and try to locate yourself on the map to have a good idea of where you're at.
I've seen swells on Abraham Lake, like 3 foot tall swells at times with some of those winds. And those can not only tip you over very quickly, but they really can push you even to the far side of the lake. Like, you guys have had to do rescues for people that their boats have taken them to the far side of the lake and they had no control, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is correct, yes. Last summer we had 2 rescues in particular where boaters were paddleboarders, and then a family in a canoe were basically pushed from one shore to the other shore. Even for us doing the rescue was quite challenging in our jet boat. It was just waves and lake conditions were not great at the time, and it made it for a challenging rescue.
Okay. I know Abraham Lake it's beautiful. It's actually beautiful all year round. We have winter and summer people out there. We're talking specifically about summer here, but when that water is on a good day sitting at +4, and I know you've mentioned before, you take that breath and you might breathe in water because it's a shock, but also how quickly does confusion set in when somebody's super cold in the water?
Generally within 15 minutes, people start to lose, they get numbness in their extremities, fingers and toes and hands. And then once that confusion sets in, it's roughly the same time as well, because your thinking is impaired. And as much as you try to, rationalize, I need to grab the top of this overturned canoe, you find your arms can't move. Okay, well, I'm floating, because you got a life jacket on, which is always advisable on that lake, no matter what the conditions are. Folks might not be able to do that, if you find yourself in that condition, most rescue places will say, and organizations, there's a hug that you do. You got your life jacket on, hug your knees. It conserves the energy. You can shiver away and float away. Literally not float away, but just float there. And, that's a point to conserve energy. So confusion sets in pretty quick. So does that loss of movement.
Okay. And you mentioned knowing where you are is such a big thing, especially if anybody's trying to communicate back to where a rescue might need to happen. Abraham Lake is 32 kilometers long, so it's a lot of region for people to try to identify where they are. And there honestly aren't that many signs out along Abraham Lake to identify any spots. When people might need to call in a rescue, is there something they should do? If they know somebody needs to be rescued and you're somebody on the shore, what is something they should do?
Well, if you have a phone and you're able to pin your phone and get a GPS location that way, that would be advisable. Sometimes you might have to drive to an area if you're calling in a rescue for somebody else to where there's cell phone service. It'd be important for us to know where you've parked your vehicle, kind of number of people that are needing rescued, the equipment on hand, and what their injuries might be, or if they're in the water or in the vessel. That would be helpful information. Okay.
And I guess I'll ask just one last question. I know we've sort of seen a rise in a variety of lower cost vessels that people float around in. But I think there's what we've seen on Abraham Lake is a lot of paddle boards recently.
Yeah, paddle boards. We've cleaned up a few flamingos and unicorns that tend to get punctured pretty quick, and then just people leave them behind. So yeah, they're not advisable at all because there's no control if you don't have a paddle or anything.
Right.
But regardless, paddling is not even advised regardless on that lake. So just because of the coldness, the water temperature, and the winds, there's a lot of hazards there.
Okay. Well, thanks, and I hope people will be able to tune in to some of our other videos talking about safety in our area.